welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful 3 weeks this time. That was our break. And you're ready for November. Big things in November, as I promised you. This month, we will be talking about MH370. As you know, I have done a video earlier this year about the aircraft and about a new report that had been published. And I received a comment from someone that has been working hard and doing studies to find the location of the ill-fated aircraft. This person is Ed Anderson, and he has been helping me to clarify a few things, even for myself. And as you know, I'm an aviation lover. I understand a lot about aviation, but obviously I am not a radio and seismology and this type of technology. I'm not an expert in it, so therefore I really needed someone to help me out with this, and Head has been great. He has been helping me, and this month we are going to talk about today what were the inconsistencies found with the report I've spoken about in my first video earlier this year. And next week I will be talking about Head and his work, what he has done, what exactly were his clues, and what has he done to come up with other possibilities for this. So stick around and let's talk gadgets. So let's talk gadgets and let's talk MH370. I apologize for this noise, but unfortunately someone is just cutting the grass outside, and that's the noise you hear. I apologize. So as I said, let's talk gadgets. This week we are starting our November about MH370 and all the investigation that has been done about MH370. And we start today by clarifying my last video, because as you know, I have published a video earlier this year about this aircraft, and it triggered a response and a very good and fantastic experience investigating it, which led to what I'm doing it today, what I'm doing here this month, and I hope you like it. So let's clarify the video. And in my last video I spoke about a report that was published at Airline Ratings, and on that report, on that article should I say, it spoke about a report done by Richard Godfrey, and he had developed a technology called GDTAAA, which stands for Global Detection and Tracking of Aircraft Anywhere. This was based on WSPR, which in this field is called Whisper. So it's based on Whisper technologies. So what happened was Mr. Godfrey claimed to have a new possible location for MH370 based on his studies, so on this new technology that he had developed and the use of Whisper data. The study was strongly refuted by his peers, including people involved in the investigation of the disappearance of MH370 itself. And even the creator of Whisper was also one of those people that refuted it and said, no, there's inconsistencies, it needs to be studied further. So I was alerted for these inconsistencies and refutation by the whole community, by one of those investigators that I will talk about in detail next week. This person was Ed Anderson, who has left a comment. As you can, if you watch that video, you will probably have seen his comment, who has left a comment on my video and has helped me prepare this month's Gadgets Reports. So I have to say thank you, Ed, for your help and for all the incredible information that you have provided me that made possible this month of Gadget Reports. So this is to put you in context about what we are going to talk about today. So this was what happened in my last video. I spoke about Mr. Godfrey's report and his technology, GDT-AAA, and then I got the response that there was inconsistencies and needed to be studied further. And this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do tell you about what I found about this and why it was refuted. So there was a new ATSB report in the official ATSB report that was published this year, so on the 8th of March 2022. The ATSB, so the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, requested Geoscience Australia to review the data from the original search for MH370 based on the report published by Mr. Godfrey. So the ATSB learned about this report and requested Geosciences Australia to review the data based on that information that Mr. Godfrey had provided. The existing data was reviewed within 40 nautical miles, which is approximately 74 kilometers, and that showed that it was not likely to be an aircraft debris field within the area reviewed. So within that area, it was found that it was very unlikely to be an aircraft debris field there. But they also identified areas mainly beyond 10 nautical miles from the proposed crash site that either presented no data or the data collected by Ocean Infinity was not included in the report. So this is what they found. Although Geoscience Australia had identified 11 contact sites, Mr. Andrew Sherrill, and Mr. Sherrill is an expert in deep water search and salvage operations, so it's a person that is used to this type of job and knows what to expect in these particular situations, determined that those contacts were not from an aircraft debris field. So Mr. Sherrill also discarded that hypothesis. Some could be geological features and other anthropogenic features, so something different. There was also data gaps and holidays. Let's clarify this for you. Data gaps represent areas where sonar data was not collected, and holidays are small gaps greater than 100 meters within the data. This can be due to several factors, such as failure in the equipment, low density area, and the vessels being temporarily off track. So that's what causes these holidays and these gaps. These gaps and holidays were documented in the report, and the report says they represent only 1.5% of the total area reviewed. So it's a very small portion, is a very small percentage of the data reviewed. None of these gaps were big enough to contain a debris field, so an aircraft. The report concluded that 11 contacts identified in the debris field, as I said before, were found to be unlikely from an aircraft debris field by Mr. Sherrill, as I said before. I just explained, and this led the ATSB to conclude that there was no possibility of finding an aircraft debris field within that area. So this was the latest ATSB report that was published in March this year after Mr. Godfrey's report. So ATSB also found that it's very unlikely that an aircraft will be within that area, within that data. Now, Whisper and why Whisper is not a viable option. Let's talk Whisper. We already spoke about what Mr. Godfrey found and the ATSB. Now we need to talk about Whisper. So there is a lot to be said and studied about this technology. In fact, it would be a thematic for a video on its own. And obviously, because this is not obviously the thematic of the channel, I'm not gonna delve into this. I'm just giving you an introduction of this because I think it is important to understand what we are talking about here and why it was found that this technology in particular won't lead us to a solution per se. So I took all my information, as I said, I took all my information from the blog MH370 and other investigations. I will leave the link below. This blog was suggested by Ed. He also has several comments on the blog. The blog is one of the persons that actually write on the blog is Mr. Victor Ianello. I will be talking about him in my next video as well. And all the links will be below, as I said. So in a very short interpretation, this is very, very short, Whisper, or Weak Signal Propagation Reporter, as I said, called usually Whisper, is a system based on electromagnetic radio waves received and transmitted by radio stations. The system uses low frequency, medium frequency, high frequency, and very high frequency, the ones that we know most, the VHF, very high frequency. Although the latter, the VHF, it's not very common. They are very uncommon. This detects propagation paths around the world. So that's basically what Whisper does. These electromagnetic radio waves are sent to a central database that can be retrieved publicly. So what it does, these receivers, they just process the data and send to that, and that's what can be retrieved and analyzed. According to several experts like Victor Ianello, I just mentioned him before, from the blog MH370 and other investigations, including Victor Ianello, and even the creator of Whisper technology himself, Joe Taylor, who received the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1993. Whisper cannot be used to track an aircraft at a long distance, and it also cannot help in the reconstruction of an aircraft's flight path. Therefore, it cannot locate MH370. So this was what was found. Victor Ianello explains in his report that the reason for this fact is that the signals received from possible aircraft at long distances and low transmission would be too weak. So this is why there was a few inconsistencies, and this is why had alerted me to this and told me that maybe I could do a further investigations and find why the community was saying no, this is not possible, this needs to be studied further, this needs to be more elaborated, because obviously it's not possible, and they proved it. And the ATSB did another report, they reviewed the data, and all these other experts have come and said no, there's inconsistencies, it's not possible, the signal is too weak, it cannot identify aircraft. And so this is why Ed made the comment on my last video that led to all of this. I hope it really explained why Mr. Godfrey's report was not entirely correct in what inconsistencies there were, and what explanation we needed from that. And that's all for today. I hope you really liked today's video, the first of this two series this month about MH370. I hope you really understood what was the issues, what was were the inconsistencies and why that technology was not entirely appropriate to find MH370. As I said, I leave all the links below, so you can also find Mr. Ianello's blog, and there you will find an infinity of information. It is a lot of information that you can find there, and it's so interesting. You can really read about all the studies, all the hypotheses, everything, all the comments, including lots of comments from Head, and you will find exactly what has been said and why the community has come against that report. As I said, I will leave the link below so you can access. I will leave the link also for the latest ATSB reports. You can also access the ATSB reports at the page. And of course, if you have anything to add, anything about this, if you maybe if you are also investigating this and you have new clues, why not? Just let us know. Once again, I would like to stress that I won't be delving in conspiracy theories. Unfortunately, there is a lot of conspiracy theories when it comes to MH370. It also happens with any major accident like this. However, I will not delve into such theories because I think all we need at the moment and all we need now is closure for the families, is to know what happened to this aircraft, what happened to those victims, where is their final resting place, and close this chapter. I think we don't need any more conspiracy theories and things that cannot be proven and quite frankly will lead to nowhere and usually will only add up to the family's pain, grief and despair. So I welcome all the comments, all the good things, but unfortunately I will reply, but I won't be delving in conspiracy theories because I think that's not what this video is about. That's not what this channel is about, and this is not what this investigation was about. I did these videos, I did this because I really wanted to clarify things. I would not like to have to conspiracy or to things that cannot lead to a conclusion. So but of course, if you have any comment, feel free, leave your comment. If you have any ideas, leave a comment. Ed, if you're there, I think you would be, I think you will be watching this. Thank you so much for helping me, and I'm waiting for your comments. And of course, you know the drill. Put a like on the video and subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new gadget report every week, or in this current model and up to the end of the year, every fortnight. So see you next week. Yes, there will be a gadget report next week with more MH370, and this time around it will be about Ed, and it will be about his amazing work. So I'm looking forward to see you next week. Have a good one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.